Eden Kaz here with Just Be, and we are about to take a spiritual boom. We are at an unprecedented time in human history where we are transitioning from 3D to 5D within the great spiritual awakening. This video and audio podcast is the place for you to find your truth beyond politics, your sovereignty, your voice. Let's kick up your vibration now. By the way, each episode ends with the Just Be practice to do just that. And as we begin the show, just to know a little bit more about me, I'm a soul realignment specialist, meditation master, and dimensional healer. Learn more, and there's merch also at EdenJustBe.com. Let's get this party started. Jen, I do normal smiles, and then I do stuff like this too. So whatever you want to do. So let's start with some.
I'm going to follow you.
Ones. Okay. Oh, okay. Nice. All right. So we're going to start with some nice ones. I'll do a little winky wink. And then I do some like, yeah. And this is so exciting. There you go. Well, what you're doing is really, really great. Okay. Now we'll begin.
Okay.
Eden, Just Be Spiritual Boom. Welcome, everybody, in association with the Grassroots Warriors Network. Welcome, Jen Mitchell, Love, founder of Solace Divorce Mediation. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, Eden? Thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really happy to be here and talking with you about all this stuff at the end of the year. It's so exciting.
I know. You are so welcome. I want to go ahead and read this, because I'm going to read your bio in just a second. She founded Solace to transform the outdated matrix of litigation, amen, a system rooted in fear, separation, and control, into a sacred space for healing, empowerment, and ascension. So whether you are contemplating divorce, you've been through divorce, we are going to talk about relationships and talk about lawyers and litigation and how I feel, too, so much within the justice system needs to be changed. And we are at the point in the Great Awakening where things are going to start to happen. And Jen is on the forefront of that. So it's so much more than just divorce. Okay, let's see. Her personal awakening began 15 years ago when she realized the courtroom was an energetic battlefield perpetuating trauma. Mm-hmm. For me, I am 5 years from what I consider a karmic divorce. And I really, so I can speak to the challenges of it as well. And I've been really contemplating, like, Jen, I would have loved to have known you through that, but I don't know if my partner would have been cool with it. So I've really been thinking about that. And I don't know if that would have been the way for us at that point, because I'm all about meditation and everything that you're about as well. So we'll talk about that.
Yes.
Okay. So we are going to talk about conscious relationships, a 5D way of legally splitting up, the impact of kids in divorce, how to do things different. And I want to hear about your personal experiences as well. All right, two things before I read more about Jen's bio. So if you can just hang in there for a second, Jen. All right, 3i Atlas, which I've talked about on the show. That is seen as a comet, but is way more than a comet. Today, as we're recording on December 19th, 2025, it is coming closest to the Earth today. So it is auspicious. I already told Jen that we are recording the show today. I believe that it is so good, and I've watched podcasts also talking about how it passing closest to the Earth is going to increase our consciousness, increase psychic ability. So even though this will be published after that has happened, I want to talk about it now because the resonance of that will continue. The goodness of that will continue. So yay, humanity. Yay.
Yes. Yay.
Yeah. Anything
Totally.
to help us. So appreciated. Thank you, ascended beings, cosmic beings.
Thank you.
Love that. Okay. And I want to bring up again, episode 188. We're on 205 with Jen. So gold IRA scams. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but silver is going through the roof, which is so great. So I would encourage people to invest in precious metals because the way our economy is going, I think the dollar is going to tank, all that stuff. So we are in this period of, our legal system changing, finances changing. And I also believe that we're all going to be okay. So it really doesn't matter if you do this or not yet. I am going to promote it because it's freaking fun. So 188 was about gold IRA scams. I was involved in one. So Miles Franklin was on the show with me. Kevin helped me for 2 months get out of who I was working with into a new, well, I ended up going with them. Yet they are wanting and desiring to help people through this. They don't care if it benefits them. They are just doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. And I know this because I experienced it. So I went through, I'm going to throw out some names, and we don't do this on the show, but I'm doing it now. I went through Gold Co. and Birch Gold. So they also go through in that episode what to look out for, the warning signs of who is not the best to go with. So if you have any concerns about what you might have done, contact them at info@milesfranklin and put me in the subject line. Also, if you want to invest in anything, I highly, highly recommend them. They are, to me, true, because I've personally experienced it. Okay, Jen, shall we get to you now?
Oh, love.
All
I
right.
love everything you've been talking about. I'm sitting here like taking notes, like,
Oh
okay.
my God. So great.
And it's from the earth. So anything from the earth to invest in
Yes.
feels good to me, you know?
Yes. And gold,
Yeah.
like even to intake it, like I don't know too much about this, but to intake gold, like literally into your body is just a beautiful thing. Like, again, I don't
Mm.
know, but yeah, it's good stuff. And it like, again, natural, I guess you would call it.
Hmm. Yes.
All right. And I have to add this too, Jen. I did this after my divorce because my former husband would have been like, "You're doing what? What are you doing?" So I
Mm.
loved that sovereignty and that freedom to go, yeah, I'm going to take all this stuff from
Totally.
IRA and just do what I
Yes.
want to do with it. And then to find out I had done it the wrong way, yet it turned out to be so great. I had already made
Of
so much
course.
money out of it, and
Hmm.
now it's just it's so cool how it went down. All right, anyway, Jen Mitchell Love is the founder of Solace Divorce Mediation and Solace University, and a pioneer of a heart-centered, soul-guided approach to divorce healing and conscious relationship transformation. With nearly 2 decades of experience as a family law attorney, mediator, and holistic life coach, Jen bridges the legal and spiritual worlds to help people move through life's most difficult transitions with clarity, compassion, and empowerment. Okay, we're going to talk about this too. After spending the first 9 years of her career as a litigation lawyer. Okay, so
Hmm.
this is to me kind of the traditional system that we're used to, what we've seen on TV,
Totally.
yeah, or what you've
Yes.
gone through. All right, in the family law courtroom and witnessing the emotional, financial, and energetic harm caused by traditional litigation, Jen has dedicated her life to creating a new way, one that honors the soul contract of marriage, supports children, and families, and uses divorce or relationship transition as a catalyst for awakening, healing, and self reinvention. Her work integrates mindfulness, energy awareness, intuitive guidance, and grounded legal education. She is the creator of the Divorce with Love Masterclass, host of the Divorce with Love podcast, author of Shine, Soul Shine, a guided journey for healing and self-discovery through divorce. Through courses, retreats, media, and her Solace platforms, she helps individuals step out of fear and into their power of becoming conscious co-creators of their dream life. That's it. That's all you're
Yes.
doing.
That's all I do.
That's it. Simply
It's been
put.
an evolution. It's been an 11-year evolution for sure.
All
But
right.
that's where we're at right now.
Okay. As we will go into that, I first want to know how you came to see the truth of the 3D, the 5D, the matrix. How did your awakening come about?
Oh my gosh. I mean, when I was in the system, I was a waitress for 12 years throughout undergrad and college
Yeah.
or I'm sorry, undergrad and law school. So I wasn't ever in like the corporate America world. I was kind of outside of it. And then when I went in to become a litigation attorney, that's when everything started for me. So that was like 20 years ago. That's when things started for me because I was like, none of this really makes much sense. sense. Like, why do we have to come here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5? Like, what if I don't want to? And I remember going up to one of the partners and asking, like, what if I didn't want to come in on Tuesday because I just want to like stay home, but I'll come in or I'll work from home on Saturday. And this is back in like 2006, before working
Jeez.
from home was the way that it is now. So I think that's when it started, and the courtroom definitely helped, accelerate that for me, the kind of shattering of the old and stepping into this new. But I'd say it's been that 20-year journey. And this year, 2025, my dad died March 2024, and that was a huge opening of really shifting into this higher space and looking at those attachments, that I had to the third, that he taught me, that my lineage taught me. And 2025, like I said, has been just, at this point, I'm so ready for the new year. Just
we're getting ready
so
to end it.
ready.
Can I ask you, with your dad passing, do you mind getting specific
Of
about that?
course. Yeah.
Okay, what was your
Yeah.
relationship like with him?
We were always really close. He was always very nice, very funny, very smart. He was a business owner, so he was an entrepreneur. And growing up, I felt, and witnessed it being really high and then going low. So, oh, Cash wants to say hi. I've
So
been
for
gone to a funeral, so they're like, she's home, she's home.
so for those who are just
Um,
listening, her kitty cat came up close. It's really sweet. All
Both of
right.
them are on my lap right now. They were sleeping on my
Oh,
head.
two.
So my dad and I were close, and he would help me because as a business owner, I would share with him different messages that I'd received about Solace. And I'd say, like, this is what I want to say, on the website, this is what I want to share with people. And then I would ask him back then, throughout the last 11 years, I would ask him, how can I say this in a way that would resonate with the third dimensional human, where it wasn't too scary, it wasn't too far off. And I kind of was keeping a foot in both worlds. Like, okay,
Because
I
you
am
kind of
an
have to.
attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I am an attorney, and I do the legal stuff. We do all the legal stuff with divorce, but there's all this other, soul work stuff that's happening. So he would interpret it for me. And then when he passed, it was magical. I actually
So wait a
I
minute. Let me ask this
yeah.
question. So he was like, you could talk to him about big picture, deep, and he
Hmm.
got it.
He got it, but he didn't live it. I mean,
Oh,
now it's different. Now it's
yeah.
different. Our relationship is very, very different now that he's passed. But when he was alive, he understood that it was my way of living. I don't think he understood that he could do that too,
Wow.
you know. Yeah. So, and he always, of course, I'm his only daughter, and I think, and I've been, very strongly responsible financially for our family of three kids. And so I think he was always a little nervous of like, how far is she going to go with this,
Yeah, but
And
it sounds like
now
he
it's
was
like,
he
oh,
was
it's all out.
open. Like, it
He
wasn't like,
was
what the
open.
heck are you doing? Like, very supportive. Maybe again, like, I
Hmm.
can't do this for myself, but man, let me assist you. That's amazing.
Yeah, he was a really good bridge. And even when we're talking about this, I'm like, I wonder, there probably will be a lot of souls that are here to be bridges,
Mm-hmm.
as this ascension continues,
Mm-hmm.
where people like, yeah, they can, they're not like so far out there. But he was always a bridge. He was always a bridge for me. And even with my family, it's getting better now, but it's been a little difficult of a road to navigate with, people who are so adverse to the way that you live and the way that you see things. And it's so confusing. It was so confusing for me, because it's like, well, wait a minute, but I'm living a very joyful, loving life. Like I'm serving, that's what my purpose is. Like I'm outside enjoying nature, I'm meditating, I'm doing breath work, like I'm doing all of these things that make
Yeah.
me feel good. But yeah, I don't know. So it's interesting. That's why I shared with you earlier. I'm so grateful you have this podcast, because I feel it's going to be very helpful for people. And you said you've been doing it for 4 years, and I feel there's so much happening, right now. There's so much shifting, and I feel a lot of people I mean, I just went to a funeral for 4 days in Chicago and with my family and talking to people, it's like they can feel something,
Mm-hmm.
but they have no idea what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They have like no tools. They have no idea. It's like tabula rasa, starting from scratch. And there's nowhere, like, it'd be wonderful if, like, for example, this, like what you do and what others do like you, if that could be like the evening news, where
Right.
everyone gathers to hear really beautiful things and to reconnect with self after a hectic day and to release things that aren't feeling good as they drift off into sleep instead of the way that it is now where it's like they're just and that's, I don't watch the news, but it was on at my mom's house, so it's just it's so fearful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on. I am involved with this one group that most everybody on some level knows that there's a great
Hmm.
awakening. Yet still, when the news is brought up, like I sit here and go, "Do you know how much of this is fake? Do you know how much of
All of it.
this people are
Exactly.
paid to do it to create division?
Exactly.
These murders that are happening right now." There's probably one. Okay, so famous director that was just killed. Suddenly, I
Yes.
can't remember his name. Hello.
Reiner
Yeah,
something.
Rob Reiner.
Yep.
There's a huge chance that he was a major pedophile. How can you get in
Mm.
that position and not, there's so much. So I remember listening to it going, okay, what do I say about this? All right, I don't really need to go there because it is challenging when you know as much as you know, when other
Hmm.
people, like you said, even if they have an
It is.
inkling,
Yes.
but if they haven't gone down the rabbit hole, if they really haven't
Oh,
gone into everything's a matrix, it is,
oh
it is.
gosh, exactly, Eden. That's exactly it. I'm
So
so grateful. I love you. We're gonna be friends forever. Because it's so lonely. It can be really scary in a way. I
mhm.
feel when you make this choice and you really do go down that rabbit hole. I do, for me at least, a couple weeks ago, I got to a space where I was like, am I losing my mind? Like, even Christmas for me this year, I have three children. They're 14, 13, 11. So they're older
Oh my
children.
gosh. Okay.
But I was getting my nails done and the nail technician asked me, she's like, "What about Christmas? Like, what do you do?" And all of a sudden I was like, Christmas. Like I hadn't even thought about Christmas this year. And I was like, I love Christ conscious energy.
Yes.
I mean, that is the fifth dimensional way. It's Christ consciousness with the divine feminine, being the dominant energy, but I couldn't, Eden, I really, and I'm still struggling with it, my life. It's like, where is the Christ consciousness with the way we celebrate Christmas? And why do we spend all of this money on all of these corporations that are not doing amazing work in this world or for this beautiful earth, that are employing all these people who hate their jobs? It's like, why am I can't. So I told my cats, I'm like, it's going to be a little different this year. It's going to be more focused on Christ consciousness and gratitude and reflection and goal setting. I don't know. I just, even that's just one example of, like, I feel like when you make this shift and you really, like you said, rabbit hole, it is a rabbit
Mhm.
hole, and it just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper, which is exciting because there's so much liberation that comes from it. But it can be, I think it can be kind of lonely, sometimes, unless you
Yes.
you attract the others.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons I started this too. Was so I live in Ohio right now, and there are several people that know, and a lot of my clients are really awake, and they've been on this journey with me, and I work to wake
Hmm.
them up. Yet part of it for me was I'm going to find other people who know what's going on and have that connection. So
Yeah,
if I don't have it here, I'm going to create it. And
beautiful.
also, like with Christmas, like Santa Claus was created by the Coca-Cola Company.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
You
This,
know, I mean, Santa. So none of all these things are commercial. And I have to tell you
yes.
this, Jen. My main gift to each of my family members now comes from people that I've met on the podcast. So I
Mm.
give their work as a gift. So it
Oh, that's
supplements,
beautiful.
yeah, that's, and even though, um, a lot of them aren't aware of what's going on, they can still
Hmm.
work with people that are lovely and ascend them. So it's
Yes.
just juicy. All right. Can I ask you? Well,
Hmm.
I want to ask you about your kids first. Do they have an idea of what is going on?
Oh my gosh. Yes. So
Okay.
my kids, so Harvey, Juniper, and Hud, when they came in,
Oh, I
we had
love their
3 and 39 months. So it was bam, bam, bam. And
Okay.
I was working at a law firm when I was pregnant with my eldest, and all of the attorneys told me, Jen, you're gonna have to pick. You either are an attorney or you're a mom, And I was like,
Ooh.
I want to do both. I don't know why we can't do both. And so I started my own practice when I was pregnant with Harvey, and they've been with me throughout the whole journey. So they're the reasons that I left the courtroom too, because
Yeah.
by the time the third came 3 years later, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize what I was doing in court in the sense of like the bigger impact because I didn't have my own children.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yes.
understand any of that. Like I had cats, but back then too, but I mean they weren't, I had no idea. So when my kids came in, they really helped me to really see the work that I was doing and recognize the ridiculousness of that system. The courtrooms, family law, that's the one that I know. I don't know all the other ones, but I
Yeah.
assume they're probably all similar.
Hmm.
It just nothing ever happens. It's constant fighting. You have two attorneys, if they're working in a law firm, they're getting pressure from the higher ups to bill a certain amount. So that the attorneys in 9 years of me litigating, I have 5 attorneys that I refer out now. If,
Yeah.
like what you shared earlier, if like both people aren't on board to mediate, I have 5 attorneys that I refer out. And those are because those are the only 5 in 9 years that actually would work with me to try to resolve cases. All the other ones, 9 years. I mean,
Oh.
hundreds of cases, 9 years. They would just file, 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 because when you file a motion, then the other person has time to respond, and then the person filing has to reply, and then you have a pretrial conference, then you have all of these status dates. I mean, there's so many billable hours to a motion, and why not for attorneys. And it's not that they're jerks, but the other part of it is they're required to be the zealous advocate for their client, which means they're ethically obligated to serve their client's best interest and their client's best interest only, which, and if they don't, they could be disbarred. So I don't think they're all jerks, the litigation attorneys. I'm not ready to go there yet. I think they're very stuck in the programs of this is the way to do it.
Hmm.
Divorce must be contentious. It must take a long time. It must cost you tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You must hate your spouse. Your children must be negatively impacted. I think the attorneys in the litigation system are all programmed to believe that. They just believe that that is true. And I have a very different belief. I don't believe that is true. I believe divorce is one of the most transformative experiences you can go through. And now with this awakening, I mean, it's the whole
Dang.
narrative has changed.
Yes.
October 12th, this last message came through of what you just read. And yeah, so it's very different now.
Okay. There are so many ways we can go. Uh, Suddenly, I'm sitting here going, oh, which way, which direction
There's so much to
first?
talk about.
Okay. Okay. So, um, 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 with your company, maybe this is the best way to go. Okay, so I do
Hmm.
want to say this. I watched a podcast. It was a year ago where they had a divorce expert on there, and I was
Uh,
watching some videos from you, and it came up next. I was like, okay, this is really really interesting. So a year ago,
mhm.
he said statistically that 56% of marriages end in divorce. Okay, I'm assuming it's around that range right now. And then he stated 86% of people after 5 years get remarried.
Oh,
Yeah. So he said divorce is
interesting.
always going to end. Either it's going to be death or divorce. I thought that was really interesting too. So I want to, okay, here's where I want to start.
Hmm.
Do you think, okay, and I also want to talk about, I think you were divorced before and then
Yes,
remarried with 3 kids.
I haven't remarried, but I was divorced in 2019.
You haven't remarried.
Mm-mm. I am dating though, so I can talk about love again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because for me, I doubt I'll ever remarry again and go back into the legal system that way
I know, but
because I,
weddings are so fun.
okay,
They're so fun.
Okay, because
far
I want to
needed.
talk to you about this because I feel like getting married is also part of the programming. That this relation,
Totally.
this expert, this lawyer was talking about how when you're dating someone, the expectation is, oh, at some point you're going to get married, or
Mm,
to the man, you're going to make a what is it, a truth with the woman. What is it called? Or you're going to make her
like a
respectable, and you're going to
promise or
get married. Yeah.
oh,
So it's all like
oh, I see. You're saying
marriage
it's
is
like,
pushed.
yeah,
and
totally.
and the fairy tales through Disney. Oh, you're going to get married, and you're going to. So I do not see myself binding myself into that type of system again. So I also want to
Totally.
add to you, Jen. I'm also in 10 months at this point, what I consider a 5D relationship. Okay, so let
Oh, that's
can
beautiful.
it is.
I'm like 2 weeks in, but then I was dating and I mean, I've been here about 6 months and I'm really enjoying it. Like this new space of relationship.
Yeah.
Because I hear what you're saying too. And I've thought a lot about remarriage too. In the way that you're talking about it, like in the way of like, because
Yes.
even when I was married, I didn't wear my ring, and it wasn't because I never had an affair on my husband. We were together, I think 15 years total, but I never cheated on him. It wasn't that. It was like the energy
Oh
of
wow.
the system where I was like, what is this ring? Like, is this showing everyone that I'm your property? Like, it was
Yeah.
just, so I agree. I think that, and the legal stuff of it, like, I tell all of my clients, I have no idea why we need a judge to sign off on your divorce. I don't know why we have to do that. You don't need a judge to get married. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why. And I do. I think there's a lot of, and even with, I mean, we're kind of going off a little, but even with judges, like, I, in the work that I do now, my couples have to go to court one time to like do the prove up, go under oath and
Mm,
like make
the
sure that all of
fun.
their agreements, they understand them, whatever. Well, of course when they're coming from me, of course they understand the agreements because that's my due diligence is like to share the law with them and let them know what's going on. But I'm finding there's more judges that are being really awful to pro se litigants, and pro se meaning they don't have legal representation. And I had one judge where I went on to the Zoom, the court call, and I hadn't been on in court for like 11 years, so it's kind of fun. And I show up and I'm real shiny and bright, and everyone is so like looking gray and feeling so heavy. And the judge straight up told me that he would not sign their documents because they need to have an attorney. And I said, well, with all due respect, Your Honor, they don't need an attorney because they're pro se. And then the judge said, they need an attorney to let them know if what they agreed to is right. And I was like,
Oh
oh my.
my
So
God.
all of this for me, it's like the whole system for me is not appealing. I do have a really good friend who's a shaman, and I think if relationship moves to the space of like we want
Mm.
to do something for ourselves and for our family and friends, I think it will be more of a spiritual
I
ceremony, like
I
a
yes.
yeah, and I think, and I do also feel that that is the direction that I'm going with Solace. I think I'm going to be bringing in attorneys to help them shift the work that they're doing to really see that they can do good in this family law space. They don't have to do harm, and I think it'd be so amazing for attorneys to learn just kind of like the foundational spiritual principles of like regulating their nervous system and energy. And, these are
Mhm.
people and these are children and these are families, and you all have a soul contract together, and you're going to learn more about yourself from working with them. And, but I think eventually, I think I'm being called more now to a space of hosting retreats, for people who are maybe in a marriage and are feeling disconnected to help them really understand that soul contract, the reflection, as opposed to like everything is external. And then I want to do divorce retreats. I really want to focus on kids. And I think this will be part of it too, like a spiritual ceremony, and if things
Yes.
shift into a different space, then we can do like a karmic cord cutting ceremony to with gratitude of like for that space. And I don't know. I think there's so much, but it is funny that you brought that up because when I tune into the fifth dimensional, like new earth, heaven on earth energies, there is no legal marriage. It's not the way, which is so interesting for me as
Which
a being, because it's like, wow,
I
this is
know.
like my whole And I've been told that, Solace, my guides have told me Solace is going to help fuel this heaven on earth church that I'm creating with some medicine friends and our shaman, and that's very exciting, but it's so interesting to be like, oh, the fuel is coming, which I guess makes sense. It's coming from the old
It
to the
does. It
new,
has to be like a bridge. Okay, I think I want to be part of
totally.
that. So let's talk about that later.
Yay, good.
If there's a,
Totally.
okay, so I think I need to go a step back for a second because I've listened to you. I understand the difference between litigation and mediation because I also had some
Hmm.
friends do mediation. And I went in my divorce, I got the lawyer. He didn't. He didn't
Oh,
have a
okay.
lawyer. Okay, and it was so
Yeah.
great because he didn't charge me. Everybody
Oh,
else
that's
that I talked
beautiful.
to was like, "Oh, we're going to charge you $300 or $400 just for us to talk." But I'm like,
Totally.
I'm also interviewing you. I mean, why are you
Hmm.
charging? So he didn't charge me for the consultation, which was wonderful. And then
That's
there was a
beautiful.
flat fee in terms of
That's what I do. I do the same.
yes. So
No
let's
consultation fee, flat fee, because
okay.
it just makes it so much better.
Well, it's just yeah, it's to me that's part of the problem. All right, so can you for a moment
Totally.
explain the difference between mediation and litigation?
Totally.
All
It's
right.
litigation is like kind of the old way of seeing things, like Kramer versus Kramer, where each
Yeah.
person hires their own attorney and they go to court and their attorneys are arguing. And that's really it. In litigation, the people you can't speak. You give up your power to speak because you're paying your attorneys in 6-minute increments to speak for you. And then the judge decides. At the end of each argument, the judge decides. And most people, so if anyone is listening in your audience who is going through a litigated divorce, I would say the vast majority, 90 something percent is what I would say, have no idea what they're really doing because all of those arguments that the attorneys are presenting to the court and the judge is issuing these rulings, they are all to create three documents if they're kids. So the judgment for dissolution of marriage, the marital settlement agreement or financial agreement, all the money stuff, and the parenting agreement. Those are the three main documents. I mean, every state, of course, which is always interesting too. Every state has different laws. Every county within every state does it differently in court. And then every judge sitting on the bench within each county has their own way of doing it. So, but the consistent same thing in all courts everywhere. Those are the three main documents that you need if you have those terms. Like you
Mhm.
said, you had an attorney, so I'm sure you were working with your attorney to come up with your proposal to put in
Yeah.
those documents, which basically then sidestepped the court, where you don't need to go fight in court. You don't need to be there every 45 to 60
Mm-mm.
days or spend thousands of dollars every month on your legal fees. You don't need that. If you can, doing it the way you did it, that's sidestepping it. In mediation, we're doing the same three documents. We have the same Supreme Court in each, state that's giving the homework. We have the same governing law. And instead of having the attorneys speak for you, in mediation, the two people speak, and then the mediator. So I'm still a licensed attorney, but I choose to use my expertise and my degree and my brain for good as a mediator. So as a mediator, I can work with both people. As an attorney, you can only work with one person, and you're the zealous advocate. You can't think about the kids. You can't think about the relationship that this person is going to have with that other person if there are children for the rest of their life. You can't think of any of that. You can only focus on the person, that person's best interest. In mediation, I'm a neutral. So I'm here to guide them,
Okay, let
and
me
I'm
let
here
me
to,
stop you for a minute, Jen. So you're
yeah.
not only a neutral, you are neutral also with these 5D attributes. So
Oh,
energy and
totally.
sauna. I think you have it sauna and acupuncture, and
Mhm.
so you take it to the totally next level. I want to put that in there because I'm probably going to put this segment in the greatest hits version as well. So I want to make sure that's going. Okay, so please
Oh,
proceed.
I love you. Yeah, so it is. It's infused with all these different. I mean, I have Solace client handbooks. I have an emotional, a legal. We do breath work together. I have this Solace University now that helps with all these different issues. And because you've been through a divorce,
Yeah.
so there's so much, and that's the other thing that when I really it's making me louder and louder in this space now, because when I really think about what is happening in the family law court system, my heart hurts, because it's like this is one of the most emotionally difficult and devastating experience for a human being to go through. No one gets married thinking they're going to get divorced. And so when they're there, it's like there's so much shattering. It's like shattering of what you thought the relationship was going to be, what you thought the marriage was going to be, if kids are involved, what you thought your family was going to look like and feel like, and till death do you part, all of the things. And it's like divorce comes and it's like, nope, none of those are true. And these are deep-seated beliefs from their lineage. A lot of they learn these when they're
Mhm.
children from their parents, and they learn from their parents. And it's this lineage stuff about what marriage is, what being a good spouse is, what being a good parent is, what divorce is. I mean, it's like there's
Yeah.
so much happening, which is so amazing to really navigate and help guide couples through for me. But I'm thinking, in that third dimensional family law courtroom, there's no color, there's no plants, there's no life in that space, there's no compassion, there's no acknowledgement that this is happening. It's they're trying to, it's almost, and I've coached my clients in this now, because when we do like financial stuff,
Yeah.
when we're talking about fair and equitable for your marital property inventory, and like support calculations and payment for the kids extra expenses, to me it's not a number, it's not just a number. And that's
Yeah.
what court was like,
Yeah.
this is the number, we're going to fight every single thing one thing at a time. But it's so much more than that, because if you do it mindfully, you're taking into consideration the whole relationship, all of the things that happened in that container, like how you felt them, how you saw them. And then you're taking into consideration the number. And then you're also, and this is kind of the stronger part for me now in my work, but you're also really thinking about, okay, what life do I want to co-create for myself?
Yes, you
After this
are.
is done, like who am I now? And what do I want to do? And what do I need to do what I want to do? And then it's like not so greedy. It's not so tight. It's not so black and white, because there is no black and white. It just is what it is. And it's hard. Divorce is hard. It's not an easy space. I work with people at the worst times of their life. And I always tell them, I love you. I love you. Don't worry. You're doing amazing. Like,
I went through mine very in terms of what I do as well, because I'm very, intuitive, work with energy, and that's my career and my
yes.
life. So going through the divorce, I was in that vein. My mentor that I work with, we talked a lot about it, and there were so many things that I expected that we had talked about that I already had in my mental space before going forward. Yet there are still things that you do not expect that are shocking. And Jen, I have to tell you this. I asked for the divorce 3 weeks before the lockdowns too.
Oh
So
my
he was at work and traveling.
gosh.
And then 3 weeks into it, we were all at home. So I have two girls. They
Oh
were,
my gosh.
they were in high school. So yeah, we were all there, and and actually it worked out to find that one lawyer. It wasn't like we were in court and battling things that I couldn't
Yeah,
have
with you had,
handled.
and that's beautiful that that lawyer was like that too. I
Yeah,
just want to share that, because
thank you.
that lawyer had a choice to be really, really greedy and nasty, but
He
it
was
sounds
not.
like that lawyer wasn't
No,
that way,
he
which
was
is really
not.
beautiful.
And I couldn't have dealt with that, or I wouldn't want that in my life. What was my point of this? And
You
you're
were
you're
saying there were so many surprises
there were
that you
so many
experienced.
surprises. So even someone I would consider like me, who is also very mindful and and I
Hmm.
knew that how I handled this from this was going to create the energy of my life from that point
Absolutely.
on. So I was very
Totally.
conscious of that too. So and this divorce was right during obviously COVID, and that's
Ugh,
when my real awakening. So I was already spiritual, but my awakening to
yes,
the matrix happened. So I ended up losing, which actually was a gain. My relationship, all my relationships changed within that year.
totally. Totally.
Everything.
It's Pandora's box. That's the beauty of divorce. It's here to shake everything up.
So
That
that
does
in
not surprise me.
combination with COVID and my
COVID,
views and everything. So
totally.
I lost clients and friends and separate
Hmm.
from the divorce. Then the divorce was going on at the same
Totally.
time. So it was, so I love sitting here talking about it, especially with you going, yeah, I made it through.
You did. And I always coach my clients. I'm like, I send them journal entries every week,
Nice.
just things to think about. And I always recommend they journal because like what you just shared, I think a lot of times we go through stuff and we don't really give ourselves that pat on the back, like I did really good. That was really
That
hard.
was really
And
hard. That really
it was
sucked.
really hard. Exactly. And I think divorce is one of those where, like you said, you go in one way,
Mm-hmm.
one version of self with with your life, with your friends, with your work, with everything that you have. And I feel when it's done mindfully, where you're really the legal stuff is the easiest stuff. And I coach my clients. I'm like, the legal stuff is the easiest, most insignificant part of what we're doing. We are going to do that together. Absolutely. But when we can clear the stuff,
Yeah.
when we can clear the connections, the attachment to one another, that's making each person feel very uncomfortable and be very triggered. When we can understand what that is and we can shift to being like, okay, thank you for making me feel so uncomfortable, because I've realized from that discomfort, from the reflection you're giving me, that I've actually been feeling these feelings my whole life in different variations and different intensities.
Yeah.
But the divorce, that and I think it is, I don't know. I mean, this is something I'm kind of tuning into recently, but what you just shared, I think
Yeah.
it's the marriage where the two people are really learning who they are, figuring out who they are. They might have a lot of job changes, their career change, they have children. I think that soul contract of marriage is very, very strong. That's like the core lineage, beliefs, ways of being, habits that continue to give the same outcome over and over and over through generations of time. I feel like that's what those reflections are. And that's why they're so hard. Because the hard in the sense of this person is driving me insane. I can't stand the way he breathes. I can't
Oh,
stand the way he walks. I can't, but I'm just saying, like, when
yeah.
my clients are sharing this with me, it's like, yes, and it's a beautiful gift for you, and then I can
Mm-hmm.
guide them through this mirror exercise that I'm going to put on that Solace University website in the next week, because I was given it as a message, and everything with Solace the last 11 years, it's all been messages. It's all been, because I've been very spiritual just like you, and when you said COVID was your switch, I was like, yeah, COVID was a major accelerant. Because before COVID, I thought things were different. I thought I thought things were different. I thought people, I don't know. I thought people were more like me, probably, like independent thinkers and smart and like take care of themselves and read. And yeah, so COVID was a major exposure too. Just
That
to,
was a big one.
I wanted to share. When you said that, I
Oh,
was like, yeah,
well, I think
that was,
most of the people on my show, that's been the big one. But then there was like 9/11. There was someone who came on, Hurricane Katrina. That was her
mm,
biggie, which I was like, oh my. And now when she said that, I'm like, oh my God, I see everything. And there are several people that were born just knowing that the world was not as it seemed. So I
oh,
love
wow.
to ask that question too, just to, for you to be able to share your perspective, but also for people to know they're not alone too. And
Yeah,
it's always so interesting.
it will happen.
It will
It
happen.
will happen to you.
All right. I had a question. Where did it go?
I want to
Oh,
share. Can I share one thing that
please
you had
do
asked
because I'm
earlier
stuck for a
about my
second.
kids?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to share it because my kids did change my career. But when you asked, do they know what's going on?
Yeah.
Because I think it's important for people to hear this too. So I have two that are 2012 and later. So 2011, 2012, 2014 is when they're born.
Mhm.
And from what I've looked into, 2012 and later, kids born in that time frame, they're already in the fifth dimension.
Nice.
So I feel, my kid, I'm very, very open and vulnerable with my kids with everything that I do. When I travel for like an ayahuasca ceremony or something, I will share with them what I am doing, why I am doing that, what I am working on. And they're I mean, they just came home from their dad's last week. And the first thing I said to them when they came in the house, I'm like, do you guys feel it? And they're like, what? I'm like, do you feel it? I feel like we've elevated timelines. I'm like, it's higher now. Do you feel it? And they can feel it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just wanted to share that
So
because I
nice.
think our kids, they're so beautiful and so clean and pure and not as programmed. It's not, I don't think it's as hard for them to see it and feel it as it is for older people. So I just wanted to share that. Anyone who has kids in their life, tune into your kids.
That's
They'll help
so
you.
beautiful, especially for those babies that are coming in right now. Well, it's really
Oh my
interesting.
gosh.
I have a 21-year-old. Okay, and she's programmed. I mean, she
Mm,
got to the phase now she appreciates what I do and understands it. And I talk about the Great
yeah.
Awakening and the human ascension. So she's there on one part, but in terms of not clearly seeing the divisions that are purposely being
Mm.
created, like man and woman and
Oh.
transgender agenda and all, like
Oh
she
my
can't quite
gosh. The
grasp
political
that
stuff.
yet.
Yeah.
Yes, because that is seen like, oh, mom, you're wrong and you're not loving
Mm.
people, where it's exactly the opposite of that.
And that's the programs that she's
Yes.
sharing with you is that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, here's where I'm going to go. When that you talked about, one of the reasons you do this is because of the kids. What did you
totally.
see when you were doing traditional litigation?
Oh, every single case that I worked in, litigating, it would always start where they would say, I don't want to impact the kids. I don't want the kids to, I don't want
Uh-oh.
to be harmed. And I think I don't know. There's probably studies on it with humans, but I think what happens is when they're so disempowered and so stressed and so angry for so long in that family law court system, the only thing that they then kind of have is the kids to like make the other one upset. And so yeah, the kids were never in court, so that's good, but I would hear about the kids through like the guardian ad litem. So the parents each have their own attorney that they're paying in 6-minute increments, and then the child or children have a guardian ad litem who's meant to interview the children. I mean, the whole thing is just gross. I think
Uh,
kids, for me, that's
yeah,
just the easiest way for me to say it. I
that's a
think
great.
kids, they're so in tune. They love both of their parents more than anything. And my belief system that I share with my clients, our kids choose us to be their parents.
Mhm.
So they chose both parents for all the reasons they did. And I think, my ex-husband and I are really, I think, a good example of this in the sense that, like, I'm an attorney and, living this 5D path. And Aaron is an artist musician who now works for the city of Greeley in a government, position, you know, dating his girlfriend Vale, who is amazing. And we're just so different.
Yeah,
Aaron and I'm a Virgo, he's a Pisces. We're total opposites. We're so, so different. But I can see from like the love that I give our kids and what I'm teaching our children is very different than the love that he gives our kids and he's teaching our children. And it was a progression, it was a journey of me finally embracing like, you know what? Everyone does it different. All parents parent differently, and there is no right, wrong, good, or bad way. And our kids chose him to be dad, so
yeah.
they're meant to learn from him. And I just think with the court system, kids aren't even seen as real people.
Mm.
They're seen as
Commodities,
totally,
or how? Yeah,
totally, and they're children, and so they can't understand it the way that adults do.
hmm.
Like they can't understand
Mm-mm.
a multi-year romantic relationship and marriage and children and career and all the things. They don't understand it. And so, yeah, my focus is always on the kids. Children are the heart of Solace because my kids changed my life, and kids are just my focus. Like, with this Heaven on Earth Church, I want to really focus energies on kids. I want to do camps for them in the summer and during the year. And I want to create a Heaven on Earth school where we're getting our kids outside of school, outside of the building, and
Outside.
learning and communing with the earth. And it's all happening. I mean, that's the thing is
It is
we're not
happening.
alone in this. There's so many people that are wanting, are seeing the same things as we are. And it's just, I think now a space of this, hopefully end of 2025 will be the end of it, but just this really uncomfortable, I don't know if you feel this too, Eden, but it's like with this shift, you have to identify all the places that you're attached to that third,
Hmm.
and you have to release them. And it's
Clean it
it's
out.
so much harder in the sense of like it's your identity.
Hmm.
Like those attachments, those ways of being, that is how you learned life is. And I'm going to be 50 in 2026. So it's like there's a lot of years that,
Yeah.
to release. But I'm trusting, and I have faith and belief that it's all going to be amazing, and we
It,
are going to get through this. And
yes. And it's funny. So I just turned 57, and it's not only from my perspective, clearing everything off through this life, but it's dimensions. And like, I got lots of stuff. Like every week I'm like, oh, here's another thing that's coming off. And then I'm
oh,
like, I thought I was finished, but it's just
yes.
like, if you're going to clear everything, I mean, this time. So part of me is like, just let it go, let it all go. And oh,
Hmm.
there's something that's okay. I mean, I feel that souls are just so, I mean, they're so big and they've done so much, not only here on earth, but galactically. So, yeah, there's a lot that goes into this, which is great. Okay, two
Hmm.
things. I watched a
Yes.
podcast with you with this guy. He must have been in his 40s or his 50s. I'm probably not that accurate. Yet
Hmm.
he started his show because he was a child of divorce, and it had bothered him for so long that he wanted to help people. So that was why he
Yes.
started it, because his
Yes.
childhood was so painful through that. Okay, I want to
Totally.
bring
Which
that
is
up.
interesting too, because when you think of children choosing their parents, it's like, well, he chose his parents to go through that awful experience to be able to figure out what he wants. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yes.
yeah,
So I wanted to also give you that, because part of my job is to help people see that no matter what trauma or difficulty they've had in their life, to go towards the path of spiritual learning and gratitude.
totally.
Okay, and that's what you're
Totally.
doing as well, which is, that to me is so key in going from 3D to 5D, is
Yeah.
loving all the experiences, even if they were
Hmm.
great or even if they were just, because I've had clients that have had horrible, like, stuff that and part of that too is, where is God in all of this? So to bring them
Yeah.
back to God, to bring them back to gratitude, to bring them back to, oh my God, look at everything you learned through this, and
Yes.
we're gonna heal that. So you're doing that right now. So yay, you. Do you feel you're alone in this space? Have you found anybody else who's doing similar to what you're doing?
I haven't yet, but I've also realized for the last 11 years I've been very cocoony. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been a co-creation with spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been, me trying out different things. Like I'm at the space now where I know I'm a vessel. That is
Yeah.
that is what it is. It's not me creating this. It's not me being amazing. It's like I have channeled this and I'm putting it into the physical. So with that being said, I'm sure there's others. I can't be because there was actually that mirror exercise that I referenced. It was about 6 months ago where my guides gave me this mirror exercise to guide my clients through to help understand the soul contract. And I started sharing it with my clients, and there were two clients that I had that said, "Oh, I've read this before. I've
Hmm.
seen this before." And I didn't know where they referenced. I wasn't familiar with that. So I think there must be, Eden. Like I think there must be other people that are doing it this way because it's not because it is divinely and it is love. I mean, it's everything that's come through is the fifth dimensional space when I reflect on all of it, like divorcing with love, children are the heart, authenticity is the soul, the root of what we're doing is healing, the foundation is self-care and self-love because you have to take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all of the messages are very heavily rooted in that space. So I haven't found them, but I haven't searched for them either. Um, but I would assume yes.
I would assume so too. I haven't met anybody else but that does what you do specifically. Yet I imagine that other folks are also awakening to this is
Yes.
the way we've done it in the past. I mean, it has to be because all these systems are going to be broken down. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I will put out there more because I love presenting you and your work as well because I know there are going to be so many people that are going to want something, desire something different as this evolution is happening with everybody realizing these systems are not kind. They're not good.
Right.
And when you talked about the
They
litigation,
don't
that the
work.
lawyers and the judge, they are the people in control, not the.
Oh, and they're all part of a little boys club with girls invited, you know?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I wanted to. Okay, so for you also, I don't know if we talked about that. Oh, maybe we did. That 2 to 4 months is your period of time, which divorces can go on for
Mhm.
years too. So
Oh gosh, yeah.
yeah, so 2 to 4
And
months is
I've
still a
started
long time.
to help by creating more structure as far as like, okay, we're gonna meet here, and then you're gonna have this much time to get this homework done, and we're gonna meet again now, just to kind of help guide people through this phase because I've realized that it's hard. It's hard for them to schedule.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for them to get things done. But if they have a mindset of like, okay, I'm going to be accountable, I have to get this done by this date, then everyone's cool.
Then
So that's
everybody
kind
will
of
go.
a new thing I'm doing just to help because honestly we don't need to stay in the
Oh
space of
gosh.
divorce for
Right.
super long. It's going to be your own journey and it can take as long as it takes. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't think that there is no timeline, that just is what it is. And I think there's a lot of relationships that are changing,
Mm-hmm.
with this shift. I think there's a lot of people who
Mm-hmm.
are kind of waking up and they're like, ooh, do I like my job? Do I like my relationship? And I think that's one of the biggest kind of narratives that I like to share with people is like relationship can be fluid. It doesn't have to be so tight, and that's very much 5D, what you had shared, you've been in a 5D relationship. It's like, it really is that. It's an acknowledgement of two people coming together and you're both learning from each other and growing from each other and healing from each other. And you're also really enjoying your time. There's so much love energy and joy and the sexual creative energies. Like there's so much energy to it, but it's not what I found in this new space of relationship is there are no boundaries. It's not this or that. It's whatever you want it to be. It can
Yeah.
flow. It can flow as long as you're both very open and honest and authentic about where you're at and what you're feeling, what you're feeling from the other person. And yeah, it can be really beautiful. So I think it's a whole
Ah,
redefinition of relationship
yes, it
is
is a
really what
whole.
needs to happen.
It is. For me, given the work that I do, I also realize I'm going to look off for a second. My relationship is also to heal the divine masculine, to stronger pronounce or more strongly pronounce the divine feminine. So it's part of it is I want to say work, but not in a negative way. It is
Hmm.
adventurous, challenging in that aspect as well, because it's not just, oh, I'm just going to go into this love relationship. No, I'm going into this
Right.
mindfully. I'm going into this
Intentionally.
intentionally to heal the world. But I also want it to be for me also. So it's
Mhm.
like this got this polarity, this dual aspect to it. Okay. I want to ask you, Jen, can you work with people in other states? Are you
Yeah.
okay? Because I
As
know
a
you're in
mediator, I can
Colorado,
work with people all over, yeah, all over the country. I live in
all over the
Boulder.
country.
Yeah, and I have an office in Oak Park, Illinois. So I kind of go back and forth. But I can work with people all over the country, and everything is via Zoom, which before COVID, they were in my office, but then COVID happened. And I realized, wait a minute, when people are tuning in
Mm-hmm.
from their own sacred space where they feel safe and comfortable, they're actually really amazing at speaking their truth, much better than sitting next to the person,
Yeah.
and having all of the physical energies and
Interesting.
memories and smells and all of the things. So yeah, I can work with people all over.
All right. I'm assuming that you've had, tell me, wait, okay. Because the one thing I also wanted to add, when you go through typical litigation, everything within your divorce is public record.
Oh,
It can be
yes. I
accessed. And
love
with
that you brought that up.
what you do cannot
Totally.
be. Okay. That's
No, what
huge.
I do, it's all confidential. So the only public record that is filed is the final agreements. So there's no emotion in the legal documents of how we got there.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, it's just the final. So they just go to court one time, just for the prove up, just for that one hearing to legally dissolve the bonds, and that's it. And the only thing that's
Wow.
entered are the documents that they created together.
Okay, and
Yeah,
I think you even talk in one show, like when the kids are older, they can go to the
totally.
courtroom and get all the documents and look at everything themselves. Oh my
Yes,
God, I can't even imagine that.
I know. And people
Okay.
think it doesn't happen. I'm like, I've served on many boards and I always would go just to see my board members. It's like if I was a child of divorce, especially contentious, or even not, I would totally go read it. I just would. I'd be so curious.
I can
So
see you
be
doing that,
careful.
Jen. I can see you doing that.
Totally.
All right. Tell me if you can answer this question. If this is, have you had some clients that have come in and at first you're like, oh my gosh, let's see how this is going to work, how we can get it to a loving level. So I'm assuming you've been presented with some
Totally.
challenges.
Yeah,
All right,
totally.
what have there been those that have been just a tremendous turnaround, like from the beginning to the end? It was completely different.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think, when you brought this up earlier when you were talking about your divorce, I think the feminine energy, and I love too when you talked about the 5D relationship, identifying the masculine and feminine energy. It's so important. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? And so the feminine energy loves solace. Like they love
I would believe
they
it.
they love the handbooks, they love the
Yes.
meditation, they love the breath work, they love the journal entries. They love that the focus is on their children. They love that they're working together because that's very feminine energy. The masculine energy, and I really appreciate when you were talking about the 5D relationship and the intention to heal the masculine, because the masculine energy typically comes in, and the masculine is the wounded masculine energy, so ego could be involved. They don't want to journal. It's not masculine to journal.
They
They don't
get
want to take a salt
emotional.
bath. It's not exactly. The emotions are really hard. So, the masculine, and it's for now, it's different because there's a lot of attachment to this third dimension still. So, feminine energy comes from for all the loving stuff. Masculine energy comes because it takes less time, it's significantly less expensive, and their feminine energy counterpart is chill, during the whole. So, they like that part of it.
Okay.
But I do one-on-ones with my clients. So like we'll meet for like an onboarding, an hour, just to kind of open this space. And then I'll meet one-on-ones. And the one-on-ones help to kind of heal things and help shift, because then I'm just able to focus energies on that one person and help, share medicine in the space that they're struggling with, and then eventually it's more kind of balanced of like, okay, both people are here. And I love all of my clients and I honor them so deeply for doing it, because the
Hmm.
programs are so strong,
Hmm.
telling them that they need to go to court, that they need to do this. And there's so many other mediation practices that they could go to. But when they come to Solace, I'm like, oh, I love you. Like your soul was meant to learn these things. And I do. I
And
feel
they're like,
like
what?
exit. They're like, what are you talking about? My soul, what? But they'll get, I mean, I do. I feel just like, I mean, we both live by this where everyone, everything coming to us is meant, is meant to be that way. And so I look at it like, well, you must have something that you're meant to do in this world, in this new space, because otherwise you wouldn't have received this like foundational
Yeah.
understanding of energies.
Okay. And I'm
So it's very
assuming
interesting.
too that there are a lot of people coming to you now that do understand these bigger picture concepts and want,
There's way
like,
more.
for me, I would want someone now who
Hmm.
understands all of this, even though my former has no idea of any, or I shouldn't say does not really desire to connect to
Yeah.
those. So for me, and I'm recommending for anybody out there who is listening to the show, knowing that you know that the 5D is going on, that Jen is a huge advocate of that and a huge proponent of bringing us into that consciousness, into that world. I think there are so many other questions I could ask you. I think we're going to have to curtail it for now. I
Girl, you're
would.
going to have to come on Divorce with Love podcast. We're going to
Oh,
talk more.
I would love that. I would love that. Thank you. Thank you. Can we move into the Just Be practice? I'm curious with what you're going to bring to us today.
Just be
Yeah, I
practice.
was thinking about this, and I think for me, breath work is such an easy space for people to kind of tune into if they're feeling overwhelmed or if they're feeling stressed. So I do a lot of different breath work, but this one is called 20 breaths, and it's really, really easy. And so I wanted to share it for anyone out there who, if you're feeling overwhelmed, especially with the holidays, especially even more, especially with this end of 2025. I do this every day at some point in the day. And so, yeah, it's just going to be a deep breath in, and I'll guide us through it. And then it'll be four shallow breaths and a deep breath. And we're going to do 4 rounds of the four shallow and the deep. And then, yeah, of course, I always have like my crystals. So if you have crystals to hold,
Love
that
that.
would feel good. Just anything. And it's good too when you're doing breath work to not cross your legs or your arms. So like try to keep your feet firmly on this beautiful ground and connect to the mother earth energies. So okay, we'll start with a deep breath to clear, and then four shallow, one long, four shallow, one long, four shallow, one long, and last one, four shallow and one long. And after you do it, you just feel so good. You can stay in this space of thinking what you're grateful for. You can think about the emotions that you've been feeling over the past few days or weeks, and the emotions that you desire to feel, the things that you wish to create. And always, 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 like I just said, going back to gratitude and really using that breath work to be in a really solid space of gratitude and focusing on everything in your life that you are grateful for, because that is the supercharger to manifesting and shifting into this higher dimensional space.
Supercharger. I have to tell you, I just connected to 3i Atlas and just got this
Oh,
overwhelming deliciousness, which is great. Hey, let me ask you this. When
yeah.
breathing, does
Mhm.
it matter if you breathe through your nose or through your mouth? Do you recommend when you exhale the short?
Yeah, I just do whatever intuitively feels good. I think the when I have done breath work with my nose, I feel like it is a little more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's just because it's like going right in there, or maybe it's just because I'm not used to it. But yeah, but I learned that from a really good friend of mine who's a shaman and a breathwork practitioner, Jacques Theron.
Mm-hmm.
And he's amazing. So I have a Solace University that I want to share with all your listeners too, because there's so many videos on there that are free. So there's so many videos talking about, like I have a video talking about the third to the fifth, a video about divorce with kids. Like there's so many, and I'm just going to keep adding more and more as it continues. I just put it up like a couple weeks ago. But my
Oh,
friend Jacques is on the second page, the tools and resources page.
oh,
And there are some really amazing guided meditations and breath work. And I am going to do one of them today, while I'm tuning into the energies of what you're sharing.
nice.
Because,
Very nice.
yeah, because we have
Okay.
the solstice coming up too, and the end of the year. I think everything is very thin right now. Like the veil is very, very
Yeah.
thin. So I want to take advantage of it. So that's why I wanted to share too about
Indeed.
Solace University, is because I have like the best of Jacques um, breathwork stuff up there. So you know, and he has his own YouTube channel, so you can go check it out. But the best of the best is on Solace University, and the last 2 months, like Eden, you will love the last 2 months of he's
Oh,
doing a monthly meetup. It's on Monday, this coming Monday. His website is jacktherone.com, but he's really tuned into these new frequencies, and he's helping by kind of giving guidance of what is happening and what we can do. And I don't know, it feels really good. So I just wanted to
very
share that.
nice. I will put the link for that and your website simultaneously, and everything will be in the show notes
Perfect.
as well. I work with a lot of couples too. It is a distinct time in terms of people either coming together, realizing that they're
Yes.
not supposed to be together, being willing to step forward and make changes and it's all for good. But
Hmm.
and I know this takes strength because the people I work with, and for me, it was very, it would have been in a way much safer to stay within my marriage, but in a certain level, not
Right.
safe at all. Not safe
No,
at all. So it's like a big step going into this world, going into the belief in yourself, freedom, sovereignty. Jen, thank you
totally.
so much for
Eden, I love you.
well, thanks. I just get all happy with that. I love you too, honey. And I'm
Yeah.
so thank you so much for doing this work and being brave enough to do it, to being brave enough to like I've been criticized for many years, like, what do you do, who are you, why
Oh,
are you
yeah.
doing that? Okay, and to know that you have your one foot in the legal system and one foot in this
Yeah,
totally different. I'm sure
totally.
people look at you and the lawyers and go, what are you doing?
Yeah,
It takes bravery to do that. It takes heart to do that. And you're probably like me, I couldn't do it any other way.
exactly. Exactly. And
So,
now I'm in a space where I don't even know if my foot is in that other space anymore. I just feel like I'm
mhm,
so far here.
yes.
But I appreciate you sharing that, because it is. I just tried to talk with my family about it at the funeral, and I was like, no one is understanding what I'm saying.
No
It's like, I've
one
been an
gets it.
attorney for 20 years. Like, there are programs of what attorneys should and should not do or say. And I've been like on the outskirt, like doing my own thing. But now it's just so bold. I'm so boldly sharing it. But
And
exactly what you said, I can't do it. It is
yeah,
what it is. I cannot do it any other way.
I love you saying that because I used to in the past was like, oh, they don't agree with me. What, I have to quiet down. But it just like you said it too. It took strength to do this, but now
Yes.
it's just I am no longer apologetic for it. I am bold. Okay,
Yes.
girl, let's keep it up. To everybody
Yes.
listening in the world, you do the same thing, and
Absolutely.
I think we're done.
Ah, Eden, thank you.
You
I
are
love you. We
welcome. I
seriously,
love
I
you. It
think
was
we could have
great.
talked for a very long time.
I
You're
think so
amazing.
too.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
for doing
much.
what you do.
Thank you.
You're
All right.
helping so
So
many people.
thank you. With that, stay tuned next week, a show every week. And just like Jen said, 4 years and just continuing. So
Yes.
until
Yes,
spirit says
Queen.
stop. All right, everybody. Jen, please say goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone. I'm sending you much love.
Feel it. Y'all, find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, True Social, as well as Rumble, BitChute, YouTube, plus a plethora of other audio directories like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So like, subscribe, do it all. See ya.